Yo, what's up? Today I'm back, and this time I'm not doing Monster Hunter, I'm actually doing Chrono Cross. I'm just having a fun time with this game. And honestly, I was actually gonna make a kind of an early video, an early walkthrough guide, just some tips and shit, but decided not to do it because I was quite busy. I've been quite busy, in fact, so didn't really have the time to do it, but I still wanted to showcase this, which is pretty much getting the best weapon in the game for the main character, Surge, or as of right now, Lynx, which is the Mastermune. This is a weapon that you're intended to get much later in the game, but it's pretty possible to get it as soon as it is possible, which is right now, before the Dragon Gods fight. Well, fights, there's more than one of them, but yeah. So in this case, I was actually looking this strategy up. This is not a strategy I made for myself. It's something that I've seen in some speedruns of the game, and it's quite an interesting strategy. It's just more so that I wanted to go over it a bit more detailed instead of just letting the commentators do it, which is a bit faster, and you have to look up a 7-hour video to do so. So this can be another quicker option. So, to get the Mastermune, you first have to face quite a difficult boss fight that, as I mentioned before, it's supposed to be done much later in the game, but we do have the tools to do it right now. It's kind of a setup that once you get into it and once you arrive at the final stage, it's kind of an auto win by then. You just need to be careful with a couple of stuff, but it's a pretty good strategy that is super consistent, so we just have to make sure that we do everything properly, which is what will happen in this case. Or so I hope. Of course I can screw this up, as always. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go over the setup really quickly. And first, what we have to do. First we need Lynx, Marcy, and Riddle in the party. So this is pretty simple. I won't really explain mechanics, honestly. I'll spend an hour explaining how the game works and the barrel mechanics. So the people who know, they'll know. So as for Lynx, nothing really special in terms of equipment, just the Stone Swallow, which is the best weapon you can get at the moment. The Mithril Mail doesn't really matter. He will only tank what he has to tank when he dies, honestly. You'll see. Then, as for the accessories, this is the important part. First, the Dreamer's Bandana. This is to get one element at the start of the fight, instead of having to build it up. Then, 2 Dragon Gauntlets. This doesn't really matter, this is just to increase the attack power. It increases the attack power by 3. And the only thing that this does is, the times that Lynx has to build the element will just give you an extra boost on the weak attacks. We'll only do weak attacks because Lynx's purpose is to build element. Then, as for Marcy, not much here, just Mithril Glove. You could have a Stone Glove, but it's unnecessary. The only thing you want is to hit weak attacks to build element. As you can see, the hit percentage is already 93%. That's definitely more than enough, especially with the Dragon's Honors. Mithril Mail. Marcy won't really need to tank much, so defense doesn't matter. Defense doesn't matter in this fight. Now, the only thing you wanna do is build up magic power with Marcy, so that's why I have the Dragoon's Honors. They're also pretty good because they increase the hit percentage and the attack power, so all the weak attacks that Marcy will do will have just a bit more of attack, just to build up the damage. But mostly it's for the magic power and also a bit for the hit percentage. It gives you 1 hit percentage, 1 attack, 1 magic, doesn't really matter. Then the magic seal, which is pretty good for magic, as you can see. This is going to be really important. I wish I could have a Skygen ring here, but I didn't really bother to have it. You can steal one or drop one, but those are rare, so at this point, not worth it. And then another Dragon's Honor for the same purpose. Now, Riddle, she doesn't matter, as you can see, you just need her to hit once. The only thing Riddle's gonna do is hit 1 attack, 1 weak attack, then use an element to suicide herself. That's pretty much it. I mean, I guess you could put a silver loop or something. Not, I guess I don't really lose anything by it. I probably won't need it. And if you have something else to boost her attack, just for the one attack she does, I guess. But it's inconsequential. Now, as for elements, there are a couple of elements we'll need, which are quite important. Links. Links, the only elements he will really need is 2 heal elements, blue heal elements at level 1, so you can use them with 1 element, so Cure Plus and a Cure, it doesn't matter as long as they're healing and they're in level 1 and being blue element, of course. Weak-minded, then an Inferno at level 2, so the most you can bring down Inferno, so Lynx can cast it at level 2. We're gonna be using Inferno to try and get the burn status effect, not for the damage itself. So, doesn't really matter. Then, you will need Magnify, which, once again, down to the lowest, which is level 4 in this occasion. These are the only things that Lynx is gonna need in terms of elements. Now, as for Marcy, Marcy just needs a Turn Red at level 1, of course, Genius at level 1, then a ton of Ice Blasts. I have them all the way up to level 3, you probably don't need this. You could do it level 4, but this is just for safety in case something happens. Oh my god, why are people honking like this? Good god. A ton of Ice Blasts, as you can see. Ice Blast level 1, Ice Blast level 2, and then Frog Prince, which is a summon. That's about it. I have a Tsunami as well, I could put it here, but man, I'm lazy. You don't need it anyway. Riddell literally just needs Weak-minded, that's the only thing she needs. So that's the setup. You will see how it works. It might seem weird and counterintuitive to how the game tends to be played, but it's a really specific setup. So now let's go into the house. We're in Homeworld, by the way, as you saw. Let's speak to Dario, which is here. I'm just gonna skip this, there's no need to see this. Let's go boys. Alright, so Dario, the way this fight works is how do I put it, it's quite different. Dario hits like a truck. At this point of the game you will not be able to beat him by brute force. So the crux of the fight is to kind of get him to do what you want, because Dario hits really hard, but whenever you use an element on him, he will also counter with the opposite color of the element. This is because opposite elements do more damage to each other, so black-white do more damage to each other, red-blue, and green-yellow. So whenever you use an element versus him, he will counter with the opposite element, but that also uses up his turn. It's not a counter that he does without some kind of cost. So the way it works is you just want to manipulate his counters to get the most out of every situation and be able to kind of loop him. And you'll see what I mean later. So he's a black innate, by the way. So first up we wanna get links to 6 element. 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, he attacks Marcy, that's fine. So now the next step is to get Marcy to 4 element. Okay. 4. Next up, we wanna get Lynx to use Inferno. We're not doing this for damage, we're doing this for the 50% of getting the status effect burn, which causes the user which is burnt to take more damage from elements. We're gonna use elements for this game, for this fight in fact. We're not gonna use physical attacks. Now, another thing is, you saw him counter with Numble because I used a red element, he used a blue element to counter. That took up his turn, which is fine. Alright. Now, we did attack 3 times, right? Now we wanna get Link's back to... No, this time I'm forgetting the strategy. I remember now. Never mind, I'm stupid. In fact, let's do this because that miss kind of cost me more than it should have. I need more stamina on Marcy, alright. So with Riddle, just attack twice. Then weak-minded, this is literally the only reason we use Riddle. And he got the burn, which is pretty good. So now he will do more damage. When you use the white element, which you are supposed to kind of intuitively, he will counter with Conductor Rod. And goodbye, yeah. Now, we need Link's at 6 element, but since I did that to gain some AP, I'll just want Marcy to get the full stamina, which is this case. Now, Marcy will cast Genius on herself, by the way. Link's Magnify, which is at level 4. This boosts the damage done by element, so you can see the kind of burst I'm going for with weak-minded, Genius, Burn, Magnify. Next I'm gonna use a turn red on Dario. What this does is it gives him a secondary innate element of red, which means he'll take more from blue elements. We should see the ATB refresh here. I hope so, the stamina refresh. Perfect. What happens is when every character is so down on stamina, the game will kind of look for actions and provide stamina to every character, so that's kind of what we did there to refresh our stamina. Now, as you saw, I used the turn red, which made him have the second innate color as red. This is good because he counters with Curpil, with Numble. What Numble does is it gives us a blue element on the field. And the more of a color you have on the field, the more damage you'll do with that element. Now we're going for, you guessed it, a full blue field. Now, as I said before, you need 2 blue elements that are healing, that don't target Dario on your level 1. You need them not to target Dario to trigger a counter, because you want the field in blue completely. And he'd use a red element, so that's fine. Now we're just gonna cure ourselves just for the blue element. As with Marcy, we're gonna do 4 attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't try to mash, this is safe as long as you don't mash, and if you get in an extra attack, it can really fuck you up, so just stay with the safe. Hit, hit, hit. Alright. Now, Frog Prince, which is a summon, he needs the field to be completely blue. That's why we did this whole thing of the blue field. And with the Burn, Genius, Weak-Minded, Magnify, Dario being red, let's see how much damage this does. Yeah, that's a lot. That's exactly what I was going for. And now we got the ATB refresh, he uses Weaken, and we're safe again. Because we got the ATB refresh. And now this is where the loop comes in. So I'm gonna attack with Lynx. Can even attack a bit more, it doesn't really matter. Because we're gonna suicide him just like we did with Riddle. Weak-minded. He's gonna counter with Conductor Rod, which he's gonna kill, of course. I love this attack, it's so funny. He doesn't die from the sword itself, just completely impaling him. Anyway, now we will enter into the loop. So there has 6 action points, which means 7, sorry. Which means whenever you do 7 action points, like attacks and elements, he will then attack. But remember that if we use an element and he counters, he uses up his turn. So the way that we do this now, we kind of loop him, and we're gonna attack 6 times here with Marcy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is not a speedrun. You don't need to go as fast as possible. You can just click the attack safely. And now we're gonna use Ice Blast. Since on the last turn before he attacks, on the last action spent before he attacks, he'll counter, give us the ATB refresh because we're at the lowest stamina, and use up his turn. What are you gonna do now? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's already staggering or limping. 5, 6. And Ice Blast. And that's it, we won. Because this loop is guaranteed. Once you enter into the loop, you can't just say you won unless you do something stupid like attacking too much. 3, 4, 5, 6. I always pause before 6 just to make sure. Again. And that's it, done. So yeah, the fight is decently safe. If you know what you're doing, the fight's safe. You just need to be careful. I'd say the hardest part of this fight is to kind of set up everything, because sometimes what can happen is you don't manage the stamina well, or depending on the action points he has at the beginning, it might kind of screw up the way that you're going with the actions. But just need to make sure that you have good stamina at all times. I'm pretty sure I referenced whenever we should have full stamina. Well, actually the only time you should really need full stamina is after you Suicide Riddle, and then you build up Lynx's element to 6. Marcy should have full stamina by then. Dreamer's Bandana, that's the third one I have. As I mentioned before, it's a pretty good accessory. Well, in the remaster it doesn't matter because you have this, but I don't use it, of course. Mastermune, a nice Chrono Trigger reference. And now we get the best weapon in the game. And fortunately this is a transformation, and we got it. It's a transformation. It's not, how do I put it? In New Game Plus you can't carry it, that's the issue. So it's still advisable to make a Spectra Swallow for Surge, just so you can use it in New Game Plus. Technically, the Spectra Swallow is stronger, it has more attack, but the thing with the Mastermune is that on every first attack, which is the level 3 attack, it auto crits on everything that doesn't have a type. So most monsters, most enemies will get an auto crit from the Mastermune. It's completely ridiculous, it's so good, it's a bit broken, honestly. Now we're just gonna see the story, but there's no point in watching this. You also receive Riddle's level 7 attack. Doesn't matter. God, I'm so clogged up. It's the spring weather, of course. Rains one day, sun another day, it's impossible. I always get kind of sick. Anyway, let's check out the Mastermune. If you see, yeah, it's a bit stronger than the Stone Swallow. It has 1 more hit percentage, which is nice, 3 more attack. But when you get to the rainbow weapons, you'll see that the Spectre Swallow is just a bit stronger. It has like, what, 2 extra attack? But the auto crit of the fierce attacks more than makes up for it, so... Let's see if I can show you in a battle. Just let me heal. Let me just show you. I'm just gonna take all of this off, you won't need it anymore. The trimmer bandana is also a really good accessory. The extra element at the beginning is so good. Where is it though? And new links. Don't need this anymore. I like the stamina belt on him. Alright, I'm back here. I just kind of wanted to show you the part of the Mastermune for you to see how ridiculous it can be. So we're gonna fight the next boss fight after Dario, which is the Black Dragon. I've done the 7 more bull quests, as you can tell, because I can fight this guy. Of course. Alright, and I kind of just want to show you what the Mastermune can do. It's a bit ridiculous, you'll see. And this guy is one of the tankier bosses. You can easily hit for ridiculous amounts of damage. But, alright, I got a bad starting ATB. That's fine though. Tons of damage. But I just wanna get the black plate. Just a note, just steal from the dragon gods. They'll give you the plates which absorb the damage from the respective elements, so it's quite good. Alright. So I wanna do strengthen first on links. Fargo will do the turn white. And we'll see how much damage we can do. You see that? Almost 600 at this point, so... Yeah, the Mastermune is super strong. It makes fights so much easier and consistent. That's why I should always opt to get it as quickly as possible. Oh my god, yes, it takes forever. Alright. Did anyone get darkness or curse? Fine. Alright, that's not good. I'll just do recover all, why not? Increase the white on the field, then links. Just do this. Yeah. He just does so much damage with the Mastermune. It's definitely worth using. Just build up the element. Alright, let's go again. Ah, of course. I'd use Eagle Eye here, but I'm trying to keep the 2 whites as much as possible on the field, that's why. Alright, this guy is dodging a ton. Yeah, I'm not even a white element character anymore, but that's fine. I can also do this. Links. Now this. Now I do turn white with Riddell on links again. And I'll have 2 whites in the field. Or not, I guess. Used genius, but that's fine. Okay. Let's just speed this up because it takes forever. That attack is so cool though. Of course I get darkness, but that's fine, I'll just purify links. And we'll do this now. Yeah. Do I have my recover all? Oh, I already used it. I'll use it with Fargo then. Just for good measure. It should be about done anyway. And that's it. So as you saw, the Mastermune just auto crits everything. Well, not everything. Most monsters that don't have a type. Like the dragons. With some normal monsters, you won't really see this happen, but that's fine, normal monsters aren't a threat. But as far as bosses go, you'll crit most of them. So you're doing a first attack with crits. It's ridiculous how strong the Mastermune is. As I said, I think it actually should be nerfed. It's a bit too strong. In my honest opinion, of course. Anyway, and then we also get the black plate, it doesn't really matter, but it's fine. But anyway, that was the Mastermune showcase. That's how you can get it early as possible. And a bonus of seeing it in action. Anyway, hope this is useful, so you can get it as quickly as possible. And hopefully you enjoyed and use this broken weapon, it's so ridiculous. Anyway, I'll catch you later though. Bye.